Welcome to I Need a Coach, where we interview top coaches, experts, authors, and speakers, hear their story, who they help, and give you best business practices on building your coaching business. I'm Adam Packard. I'm the host of I Need a Coach. For the last 7 years, we've worked with over 500 coaches and helping them with the business development, marketing, and sales of their coaching practice. Today, I've got Jonathan Bennett, who is a former client who worked with us. And Jonathan is going to share what the transition looks like if you are a corporate employee transitioning into coaching, because it's a totally different ballgame when you have your own business versus working on the corporate side. So he's going to share some insights on how he made that transition from corporate to business owner and how to fast track your business for success and how to plant seeds to generate more conversations. So looking forward to having him on our show. Welcome back. All right, welcome back to I Need a Coach. I'm your host, Adam Packard, and with me today is Jonathan Bennett. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
G'day, nice to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. So you and I worked together in the past, and we share an assistant, which is kind of fun too. So thank you for that introduction, which is great. She's been super awesome and super helpful. But let's give the listeners a little overview of who you are and who you help and a little context into the work that you do, and we'll kind of start from there.
Yeah, that sounds great, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. So yeah, my name's Jonathan, and I am an executive coach. I'm based in Ontario, Canada. I have been at it a good number of years now, and I help social purpose leaders grow and expand their businesses. Sometimes my work is a variety of things. It can begin with something that feels like work therapy, or career therapy, and it gets pretty emotional and intense. Other times it's all about business and business models, growth, turnarounds, you name it. I've got a really broad background, and so I tend to meet my clients where they're at, and I try to support them on their journey, and that can be lots and lots of different things.
That's awesome. So let's rewind a little bit. So tell us a little bit more about your background, how you got into the coaching space, how long you've been doing it, and some more details there.
Yeah, sure. So I've had a kind of long and varied career. Maybe I'll just wind it back to about halfway because that's probably where the story really starts. I found myself on the C-suite of a large hospital here in Canada. And it was an amazing job. I learned a ton. We built a new hospital at the time, so it was a huge capital project. I kind of made it through 2 CEOs, and after I got the new hospital in and up, I was really exhausted, and I just knew it was time for a change. And I had been thinking a lot about what I might want to do next. And at the time, I really felt that the nonprofit sector in Canada especially was poorly served by management consultants. And so I hung out a shingle. I just thought, how hard can this be? Foolishly, I said to myself. And so I started a little company, and we served social purpose, like social services, healthcare, arts and culture, economic development agencies all across Ontario and eventually beyond. And we grew it over time. And I did that for 10 years, and it was amazing. We became a B Corp, and I think we had at one point 13 or so full-time staff. And I got pretty tired of that too. I just felt like I'd done it, and I've also had an amazing employee and colleague who was ready for the next thing herself. And so we were able to do a transition. I was able to exit. And there I was yet again, deciding, who am I? What should I be doing in this world? And the one thing that I really enjoyed and that I had picked up along the way was doing coaching work. And so, I decided maybe just to get back to basics, work for myself, and build a practice where instead of supporting organizations, companies, I would focus in and just support leaders. And so that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years, is doing a kind of a blend of executive coaching and trusted advisory work. And there's a sort of an important distinction there that I'd be happy to jump into with you. But that's how I became me. And now I serve leaders all across North America and beyond in a variety of different ways. I also do some workshops and training, that kind of thing.
So when you say social purpose and B Corp, for people that aren't familiar with that type of client, so describe that a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. So, B Corps are a special kind of company. They've gone through an external process to validate their social accountability. And it's kind of like a triple bottom line for the planet, profit, and also purpose. And so it's a kind of like validation and accreditation, if you will, that their company is in fact doing everything they can do to meet all of their goals, to be a great company, to be a great employer, to be a strong supplier, to care about the planet, to care about issues like social justice issues. So B Corps are, there's maybe 7,000 or so of them globally. It's a growing movement, and it's, something that's close to my heart. The company that I founded became a B Corp. I sit on a couple boards now, corporate boards, and one of them is also a B Corp. So I've remained kind of attached to the movement, even after I've left the company. Social purpose companies, that's a bit of a broader term. And I certainly probably have a pretty loose definition of it. I think about them as companies that, want to put something good into the world. And that doesn't mean that they can't make lots of money, and it doesn't mean that they can't be really wonderfully successful. But I do think that they're companies that show up and care about their employees, that try to provide a positive workplace culture, that try to be light on the earth that we all share, to try to do good and valuable things for their clients and customers, and supply chains, all of it.
Yeah, shouldn't every company be a B Corp?
I mean, I think so. Yes, it's actually very rigorous to become a B Corp. It's really quite difficult to get over the bar. But if you're out there and you're hearing this and it's the first time you've kind of twigged into B Corps, I encourage you to look it up. Famously, some of the biggest B Corps in the world, Patagonia, Ben & Jerry's, what else? I feel like I'm missing Allbirds. There's a whole bunch of really big ones. Danone, the dairy yogurt company. So and just thousands of little guys and medium-sized companies too that are just trying to do their part. And there's lots of reasons why you might become a B Corp. It's great for attracting the right kinds of employees, for values alignment. It's great for the bottom line because your customers have a sense that their values match your values. And if the product otherwise looks the same, they're going to go to the company that can justify and prove that they are who they say they are. So that's a little bit about B Corp.
That's awesome. No, thanks for sharing. So let's dive into the business side of the coaching. So obviously there's tons of competition out there, and having that narrow focus of who you help and how you help them is key to separate yourself from other coaches. I know you're super active on social media. You post all the time on LinkedIn. So give us a little insight into how you run your business, how you find new clients, and maybe some of the challenges that you've had to overcome in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Okay. Great question. So I think there's a lot to unpack there. Firstly, it's not a level playing field for coaches out there. It's become a really interesting and rewarding career for lots of people to decide to get into. Many people come to coaching though, and it's the first time they've ever run a business. So they've worked in corporate or they've worked for other people, and they think, I'm doing a lot of coaching internally. Maybe I'm even certified, or I've taken courses. Now I want to hang out my shingle. And so not only are they newish to, finding new clients and sharpening their coaching skills, they've also never run a business before. And so it's an awful lot. There's the marketing side, the sales part. How do you do all those things? And so inevitably what happens when they first jump in is that there's some warm leads. There's warm things that are all around them. People that they've already known who have said, oh, if you do that, I'll come and be your client.
Right.
And so there's this false sense of, it's not very hard in the first couple months. People are coming in and I'm starting to make some money. But what soon happens is that those new things dry up, or, you work your way through your first set of clients. And then how do you replenish that? And that becomes, for a lot of coaches, that becomes a really difficult thing to learn how to do. And so they tend to go one of a couple of ways. They tend to join a much, much, much larger company that has a bench of coaches who are like a network of coaches, and they do the business development, and they take a huge chunk of the fee from these companies and corporations that hire them on bulk, and they just basically get sent in to coach, not exactly whomever they get told to, but sometimes, and other times, they'll have a little trial coaching session with one or two coaches on the bench, and the client will pick. So it becomes a kind of way for them to sort of get busy. The problem that I've seen out there with folks that go that route is that they get a bit stuck. There's a pretty finite earning capacity, and you become quite beholden to that larger corporation. So for some people, it's great and it works really wonderful. For others, I've seen certainly a sense of frustration kind of creep in over time. So for me, I had already run a business for 10 years. I already knew how to do business development, sales and marketing, pretty second nature for me. And I had a big network. I knew a lot of executives and C-suite folks and founders, right across Canada for sure. So when I started, it was a running start. And I've looked at other folks that were starting around the same time as me, and they haven't enjoyed the same success that I have. And I think it's because they had lots of great, amazing corporate experience, but what they didn't have was running a business experience. And I happen to have both. So, I share that in case somebody out there is feeling really frustrated with where they're at right now in the coaching journey, that learning how and boning up on business development and the sorts of things, Adam, that you support coaches with is key. Now, I will pivot to, I think about business development using the kind of old, farming methodology. I think lots about planting seeds. What I can control is how many seeds I plant. And for me, that means how many conversations I have, how many business development conversations I have. And every time I talk to a human who's a potential client or who has a network of folks that might be potential clients, I consider that one seed planted. What I can also partially control is the watering. So for me, that means a bit of LinkedIn. That means a monthly newsletter. And every time I put something out there, I'm like, hey, remember me? This is of value. And I water that seed. What I can't control is the sun, which is the external environment, the kind of readiness of that seed to germinate. But what I do know is that if I plant enough seeds and I water consistently, often enough, one of them will germinate. Mm-hmm. So that's the sort of metaphor I use around business development. And when I started my practice, I began with that thinking. And what I wanted to do was to really ignite, and I wanted to plant a lot of seeds quickly because I really wanted to hasten the likelihood of more germination. And that's when I reached out to you. And you helped me book a lot of calls, and that achieved that goal for me. I talked to literally hundreds of people, and from them, I continue to get business. We're more than a year after we finished that project together, and I still have existing clients that came via that time with you, and plus I get referrals from that network, and many of those folks that didn't become a client are still on my newsletter list, and I still hear from them on LinkedIn. They're seeds that haven't germinated yet.
Yeah, that's such a great point, because there are a lot of coaches that had a great career, and now they maybe did some coaching internally in their company, and then they step out and now they're doing their own thing, hoping people are just going to come to them. They're posting content and praying that someone messages them back saying, I love your work, tell me more. But you made a great point about planting seeds and then the sun. And I kind of equated to, it's all about sending the right message to the right person at the right time. You can't control the timing aspect of it, but you can control, who your offer is and who it helps and be very specific there. But having the right approach where what most coaches do, sadly, if they try any type of marketing, is they just try to sell what they do in a message, and you're just burning through connections. You're crushing any relationship capital that you might ever have. It's almost like if you go to a networking event, which if you've ever gone to one, you almost feel like everybody in the room is trying to sell each other their services versus what the goal should be is to let me get to know you and get into your network because you have thousands of contacts that could use our services. So yeah, that's an interesting point to coaches that are kind of just getting started and maybe don't have the business experience. The business development piece is something that they know they need to do. A lot of them rely on warm market and referrals, but we know that that's not predictable. So it's a challenge. But then you have the shiny object syndrome of, oh, I could do this and I could do that. And how many messages do you get as a coach on LinkedIn pitching you different types of services all day long, right? Yeah. And then, they go down a path and it doesn't work. And then they're, frustrated. So and they really are. I think that social media, for all its value, is often a distraction for new coaches. Pretty much all coaches, frankly. To me, it's marketing. It's marketing. It's not sales. I don't see coaching as an internet-based business. And what I mean by that is I think it's a human one-on-one business. It existed before the internet. And so you don't sell somebody a fairly high ticket item. Like, people spend thousands of dollars to work with me. And when they do that, they're not doing that because they read a post on LinkedIn. That's never happening. Yeah. So if I don't plant a seed and all I do is post, content on LinkedIn, I'm like literally watering a ground with no seeds in it. Right. So, I have to be on a call with somebody and I have to meet them and I have to say, what's going on for you today? Tell me more. That sounds like that hurts. Yeah. What have you tried already? Yeah. Right. Like, I need to draw them out and I need to provide value and I need to be able to help them solve problems, the most pressing problems that they have. And I can often do that in the first 30 minutes of talking to somebody. I can usually start to provide really, really deep value. And it's fine. I'm doing that for free. I don't care, because they'll feel like they've advanced, like that was a spark, that a moment happened, that I was able to provide some really great value, and they'll think, I want more of that. Yeah. And if they don't want it now, then because of your approach and the way you did it, they'll keep in touch, and with your newsletter and how you nurture it and water it. Then, and that's the watering. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. So for 2024, I'm not sure if you're a goal setter. What are your plans for 2024 for the business? Are you doing anything creative or different in terms of marketing or oh, that's funny. Like, two things I can say to that. The first is, last year I tried this whole word thing, single word. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. So that was kind of like really trendy. I think it's still around this year, pretty big. So, I think the word this year is authentic. I think that's sort of in the zeitgeist. Eh? Yeah. Last year my word was enough, and I spent a lot of time thinking, I have a pretty full practice. Do I really need to be hustling? What does enough mean? What are the right clients for me? Like that kind of thing. So it was a nice word to sort of spend my year with. Now my word of the year this year is variety, because I get really interested in lots of different businesses and lots of different kinds of things. So I mentioned I sit on boards. So I'm thinking about what variety means to me this year, both from a service perspective, like what kinds of clients do I want to work with? I want some nice mix of some really new folks to leadership, all the way up to folks who've been doing it a long time, and really different kinds of businesses and verticals and stuff like that. I like the variety. Yeah. So that's for sure. In terms of marketing, as I mentioned, my practice is quite, I'm quite full. I'm doing great. So I thought, well, I don't want to do nothing though. And I'm not brave enough to start a podcast. So what I did think, though, is I thought, I could actively be a guest on more podcasts, because I think the things that I talk about can resonate with folks. And so I'm kind of more intentionally
doing this. Although you and I, like you came to me through this, which was awesome. I'm like, look, I put that out into the universe and it's like already happening, which is kind of funny.
That's cool. No, don't be scared away by doing a podcast. I think you could actually do very well doing that and could share a lot of insights and meet a lot of great people. So there's teams and resources that can help you with that stuff.
Yeah.
So anything that you would share with, coaches that are kind of, breaking into the space, they have that corporate background, they're just getting started, they're burning through their warm market, they're trying to figure out how to drum up business, how important the marketing and the sales part is to building a coaching practice. Because if you don't get the marketing and the sales done correctly, the coaching is a privilege because you've done the right things to water and nurture those seeds like you talk about. Mm-hmm. So any kind of tidbits or advice for coaches that are moving out of the corporate field, starting their coaching practice, how to ramp up to six figures and beyond, and maybe if you were to do things over again, would you change anything? Or if you had advice to a newer coach, what would you advise them to do if they're kind of breaking into this game?
Okay. Get in front of people. Just be in one-on-one conversations with people, and worry a lot less about social media. Now, that's going to be the opposite advice that you're going to hear from a lot of people out there. But there's a lot of people that are running internet-based businesses, and the advice that they give on funnels and like landing page conversion, and SEO, that's great. That's awesome. It's really, really great. They're trying to get people to download a $49, whatever. But you're not. You're selling something that's going to be thousands of dollars, and you're going to spend an intimate amount of time with somebody, and it's a different thing. So from where I come from, the only way that you can sell that is to be in conversation with somebody, to show them through demonstration of what your value is. Like, you literally have to kind of give it away to show them that, this is how it feels to work with you. Oh, I really want that. So then the question is, how do you do that? Well, what you don't do is just spray and pray on the internet with content. I think that you convert it into a project. Go through your LinkedIn profile, go through your emails, your Gmail, create a list of 100 people that you've worked with in the past, that you know, who know you. And then this is an important step. Rank them in the order of likelihood of them saying yes to having a coffee with you. Once you do that, it's going to be, the reason why you have to do that is you want lots of yeses at the start. You want to start this because it feels weird if you've never done it before. So you want to start emailing people. Hey, it's been a while since we chatted. I don't know if you know, but I've started a new coaching practice. I wonder if you would be willing to jump on a Zoom call with me for 15 minutes, for half an hour, to have a chat. I'd love to hear what's going on for you. You don't try to sell them anything. Yeah. You're just connecting. Yeah. You just want to have a chat. And you're going to listen really carefully. You're going to use all your coaching skills when you're listening in that. And then tell me more about that. That's so cool. Wow, that sounds hard. Like, what are you doing? What have you already tried? And you're going to probe them, and maybe nothing will come of that conversation. Or maybe they'll be like, wow, this was really good. I felt like you just coached me a little bit there. Like, tell me more about what you're doing. And maybe from there, it pivots into an opportunity for you to invite them into a much longer real coaching session. Maybe that's still for free. And then you can gift them that. After that, in all likelihood, if you've done a great job, they'll be like, how do I sign up?
Yeah.
You need to do a lot of that. So work your way down through your 100. And at the bottom of that, you'll never get to the 100. You'll never get there. Because one of the other things that you're going to do is have lots of conversations with people for whom they're not looking for a coach. They don't want a coach. They're happy to have connected with you. And you're just inviting them to keep you in mind, which sounds something like, hey, Adam, I know you have a big, broad network of people. As you're going through life, I hope you'll keep me in mind. And because I have a referral-based business, and I'd love it if you'd send me people that could use the support that I have as a coach.
Yeah.
And they will do that. They'll happily do that for you because people love helping their colleagues and friends. So if they've got somebody over here that's looking for a coach, they're like, I know a guy.
Yeah.
Who's that guy with the fading Australian accent who I talked to recently? Oh yeah, it's Jonathan. I'll email you guys and set you up.
Yeah. No, it's like you said, it's all about conversations, right?
Really
you can have the best landing page, you can have the best website. I can't tell you how many coaches I talk to that say, I don't get anybody from my website. I'm like, it's like having a restaurant in the middle of nowhere. No one's driving by it. They're not seeing it. So
websites are just a background check.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I have a, full practice and, I do really great. I get no one from my website.
Exactly.
That's not the point of it. The point of it is after I've had an awesome conversation with somebody, as they're sort of like going through their mental checklist, they're going to like swing by my website, read some testimonials, watch a little video, see some bit of content, and they'll be like, yeah, this feels good. Mm-hmm. Right? That's all they're doing when they're there.
Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, great advice. So appreciate all the insights. This has been great. Where can people find you? How can they learn more about you? This is your time to share a little bit more about your work and how people can get you.
Okay. Yeah. So, speaking of websites, mine is clearlythen.com, which is there in my title there. So feel free to swing by my website. Best thing to do though is to reach out to me on LinkedIn and you can search and find me there. I post quite a lot, follow my content a bit. If you're kind of thinking a bit about, is coaching right for me? Or if you're a coach and you want to just chat some, that's fine too. Just DM me and, we'll book a time to chat. I love talking to people. I'm always talking to new people all the time and, just reach out.
Perfect. That's awesome. Jonathan, thank you so much for being on. This has been super helpful, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners are going to gain a lot of value from it. So thanks for taking some time out of your day, and I hope you get on lots more podcasts this year.
Yeah. Thanks, Adam. Good on you. And thanks for all your work that you do. See you, mate.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you for joining us on this episode of I Need a Coach. If you've made it this far, I genuinely appreciate your dedication. Putting this podcast together takes a lot of time and energy. In return, we only ask one thing, which is if you could please leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. This helps our show get in front of more people so we can help more people. This is Adam Packard signing off. Keep coaching, keep thriving, and see you in the next episode.